So how do we fix this personnel mess? Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are back live once again this Friday evening, back at our new time, 7 p.m. Pacific. How you guys doing? I see a few of you already in here. Let's see. I am hoping we're not having any issues. A lot of things going on this side, a lot of technical things, a lot of different technical things. I want to say hello to you. I see you out there, Dominique5. What's up to you as well? Tonight, during this show, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking what we did the last 2 weeks where we went over the offensive players that we want to keep or prospects in the draft or free agency, as well as the defensive players we want to re-sign from last season that are free agents, and potential free agents as well as draft picks. And we're going to put all these together. I'm going to give you what I would do in this situation if I were GM, assuming that we could sign everybody that would want to play here and also for the salary I estimated. So I want to say hello to you real quick. It looks like we are still live. I'm telling you guys, I think we'll talk about it in the Q&A section. I don't want to wreck the show with all that nonsense, but we'll go in the Q&A section, and then you can talk as well. We have the Restream open. That should be working. We tried some StreamYard last week. There was a little bit of issue with that as far as the chat goes, but we're back to the Restream. We'll do that if you want to come on live and chat. That said, let's get right into this program. That was a little weird. I'm telling you, this is going to be a weird night, guys. Stay tuned. It sounded like my microwave just went off. But it is what it is. We're going to get to this. We're going to get through this rundown one way or the other. This is how it's going to work. You know, this is what we do. If you are new to the program, this is what we do. We have our topics here. And then we'll have a banner running so you can kind of see that as well. And then at the end, we do our question answer segment. And of course, we're going to open up. We're going to definitely open up the chat to you guys. If you want to come on and sound off, you can. The link is in the pinned comment above if you see that in the YouTube. If not, you do not have to be on camera. You can just sound off with your microphone. We'll do that in the question answer segment. Paul Gaines, I see you in here. Your opinion on what we need to do, that's great. We'll get to that in a minute. But first off, I want to talk about the current count of you guys, the champions.
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, the channel is starting to grow now. It's growing a lot better than it was before. I told you I had to do some affiliation things, some things I thought were kind of holding it back, and I do think that's the case. Not to say it's growing quite as fast as I wanted to, but definitely growing faster than it was. The TikTok's kind of leveling off because I don't really broadcast there live anymore. Only during like live streams at halftime, because basically not a whole lot of people on TikTok watch those live streams. I'll reproduce some shorts for them as well as videos. I do appreciate every single one of you. Officer Rollout, I see you in here. How you doing tonight? Popcorn for the Peanut Gallery or the Popcorn Gallery. So Uh, with that said, let's get right to the next topic. Again, thank you guys for coming. And again, if you are new here, and I get a lot of people watching this on replays, if you're enjoying this, why not subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff so you can be here live with us. Now, as far as the poll of the week, you normally have a poll of the week. Of course, it's going to be pertaining to the show we're going to be doing this week. And of course, I asked what was the biggest task for the Raiders to do this offseason, and Dave Ziegler is watching here, the general manager. Overwhelmingly, you guys said we need to focus on defense. Quarterback was a little distant second. That was pretty much it. Somebody posted that we should just all of the above, everything. Well, what are we going to focus on? We need to prioritize this. Me personally, I think defense is a priority over quarterback at this time because we let Carr go. I got to give some cold hard truth here, guys. I want to win Super Bowls, but this team is not there. And I'm going to give my logic onto who I would sign and who I would draft through that. But at this point, I think the defense is probably needing serious repair. 28th overall. A huge drop off from Gus Bradley's defense that was, I believe, 14th or 15th in yards. Well, that said, let's get right to this. I want to get right to this, guys. We're going to get into this. What would you do if you were GM? I'm going to tell you what I would do as GM. Not only the draft, I showed the big quarterbacks here. Of course, we got rid of Derek Carr. What's done is done. Likely, if we can talk about that in the Q&A, likely he'll probably be going to the Saints, in my opinion. I heard he is going to be visiting the Jets. Okay, but we can talk a little bit about that later. Let's get to what the Raiders need to do right now. The first topic I had was in-house, and this goes back to the salary cap review live stream that I did a few weeks back, and I said the players that I would want to keep right here that are unrestricted free agents right now is this list right now. Denzel Perryman, I think we could get him an 8.5, that we could do that. Jackson Barton is probably the best swing tackle we have, and we could probably get him for around $1 million. Jared Stidham, you're going to see my plan is also unfolding. I talked a little bit about this before. Jared Stidham, I believe, should be the number 2 quarterback here, and I think we can get him for about $1.5 million. That makes sense to me. Luminor has been decent at tackle. Keep him on at 4. Does not mean we do not draft a tackle in the draft. Absolutely not. But I think he's done enough to actually win the job. Jerry Tillery showing a little bit of signs of life there, coming from the Chargers off the scrap heap, literally dumped by the Chargers, former first round pick. I want to see a little bit more of him. If we can get him for $3 million, I'll gamble for that. Potential Pro Bowl ceiling here, in my opinion. If we can get that for $3 million, let's do it. Mac Hollins. I'm looking 2 down. Mac Hollins, of course, a guy as a backup, solid guy as far as 4th option in this offense. I can see him keeping him for low money, and then Rock Ya-Sin, arguably our best corner. If we can keep him on at 2.5, let's do it. So the total cost of re-signing unrestricted free agents of the Raiders is about $22.5 million, as you see there. And then I want to go through the departures here. I want to go through this. Of course, Derek Carr is gone, saving almost $30 million in cap space. I said this before and I say it again. Andre James, if we can restructure, that's great. If not, he needs to go. Just from a cap space perspective, we could save $5 million on the cap. Bilal Nichols was not impressed with. That should be DT, not quarterback. Sorry about that. I did update those. I don't know why they changed back on my spreadsheet. Darren Waller, we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. And Chase Garbers, I think we only need 2 quarterbacks. And, of course, we're signing Jared Stidham. And let's get to the offensive side. We're going to start right now. This is where the estimate would be about $37 million now. The salary cap is estimated to be at a little over $230 million this year. We have some dead cap carryover still from some contracts. So we have about that much to play with. And this is how the breakdown is right now. About 51-43 offense defense. And let's get to this offensive side of the ball first. And again, I'm going to be using we talked about the last 2 weeks, and if you want to go back to those are out there. Not only the full live streams, but also condensed videos, about 5-10 minutes long, of players I'm either interested in the draft and or free agency. So let's get right to that. And the three biggest holes that we want to fill on the offensive side.
Take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, I talked about this. These are the three biggest holes, in my opinion, on the offensive side of the ball. Quarterback, offensive guard, and running back. Of course, Josh Jacobs, technically right now, would be a free agent unless we franchise tag him. That would be the approximate value for this year if we do franchise tag him. Now, of course, I talked about Darren Waller. I would like to trade Darren Waller. Number of reasons. If you've been with the show for a while, it seems like, honestly, kind of like he's gold bricking it at times. We can't really rely on him. He's been hurt off and on. I think if we can get a second or third round pick for him, I think that's legitimate for the value he is, especially for a team that's probably on the cusp of winning a championship. They would probably most likely do that to get them over the hump. That would also free up probably about another 5 or 10 million off of our cap that I didn't even include here. So that said, what are we going to do at quarterback? Are we going to sign Aaron Rodgers? Jimmy G, these are the estimates. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is under contract, so we'd have to trade for him. He's due to make 32. I put an asterisk there. He's probably going to want to make more if we do trade for him. Look at least 40. Jimmy G is estimated at about 35, about what Carr would make. And then we have a list of all of these rookie quarterbacks. Now, to me, the Carr era is over. I want to move on, and I want to move on to this guy right here, AR-15, Anthony Richardson. I know there's a lot of question marks with this guy, to be honest with you, but I think he has the most upside of all of these quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud included. I think C.J. Stroud is a safer pick. And right now, of course, we're in mid to late February. So if you're watching this a month or two later, some of these things, as far as draft positionings, will probably not apply because things are very fluid, of course, every year with the draft. But right now, the mock drafts, it's showing these top 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10 picks. So I was thinking maybe we get Anthony Richardson on the back end if we can move up into the first round late, use that 7th overall for a defensive player. I don't think that's going to pan out right now. We're going to have to use that 7th overall pick for one of these quarterbacks. And I want to take a chance with Anthony Richardson. I want to have Stidham as his backup. That's going to save us a boatload of money. Not get Aaron Rodgers. And like I said, cold hard truth here, guys. This team is not ready to win a Super Bowl. I talked about this in a previous video with Aaron Rodgers. If he comes back, he's going to come back for 1 year. So he doesn't have to go in the Hall of Fame with Tom Brady. He's only going to be here 1 year. This team has no chance in hell of winning the Super Bowl next year. Let's be honest. This defense is awful. What if we get him? You guys want to sign Josh Jacobs? How do we do that and sign the defense? There's not enough money here, especially that Chandler Jones contract. It would take a miracle to do all of this stuff. So realistically, I'm in complete rebuild mode. We'll talk about that even more when we focus more on the draft side, on the defensive side of the ball. But of course, we need to get our new franchise quarterback. And some of the mock drafts are showing Stroud and Richardson there at 7. That would be interesting if we would go either Stroud or Richardson. We are going to do some mock drafts. So like I said, that's the most fun time of the whole season. So I encourage you to subscribe. Hit the bell notification. That way you'll be here live. We do live mock drafts and get your opinion, and we figure this out. So that's my guy, Anthony Richardson, University of Florida, a.k.a. AR-15. That's what I call him. Let's go to the next one. That's offensive guard. This is what I came up with. Dalton Reisner. We've seen him with Denver. He's been kind of up, kind of down. A second-round pick. A guy who was originally projected in the first round a few years back. Didn't really pan out. I think $5 million is fair for him. Between getting him and Cody Mock, and that's the kid with no teeth, the kid who plays all the way, kind of the Raider way, just like Osiris Torrance. I would love to have him too, but he's probably going to be gone in the first round. We're not going to be legitimately able to get him, picking 7th overall, getting Richardson. I think Mock could be there in the 2nd round, and including, I think we'll have another 2nd or 3rd round. I included this into my mix when we trade Darren Waller. So I think getting those two guys there, putting Parham where he belongs at center, and then having Illuminor and Colton Miller on the ends, it gives us a decent offensive line, probably for the first time in quite some time. Not to say it's perfect or great, but compared to what we've had in the past, I would definitely call that an improvement. Plus Richardson, he's a scrambling type quarterback. We can work through this. Where there's going to be some growing pains, of course, with this first season as a rookie. Again, let's try to build this back up. Now, as far as running back goes, I know a lot of people want to sign Josh Jacobs. I don't know if he wants to sign with the Raiders. Everything that's happened, it sounded like he's sounding kind of optimistic now. But if we go this route and it's not a win now situation with Rodgers, why should he stay here? I don't want to franchise tag a guy that doesn't want to be here, to be honest with you. I don't want to pay him $16 million. So this is where I would go. I would go with Jamal Williams here. Now remember, we already drafted Zamir White. So to me, we moved up in the 4th round to get Zamir White, supposedly the heir apparent. Jamal Williams is a solid veteran. I think we can get him at $5 million. He did the job in Green Bay. He's done the job with Detroit. This is a guy who you can rely on at the goal line. If we want to draft another running back, a lighter running back later, that's fine, or whatever we want to do. But I think between him and Zamir White, hopefully Zamir White can stick it out, get a little bit better with the vision, let's be honest with you. But I think given that, I don't want to spend too much on the offensive side because the defense is really taking a fall. And I want to focus more of my my draft capital and my salary cap on that side of the ball.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
Officer Rollout says I would go all History Channel on him, starting with that. Well, we talked about Tommy Boy Davis, Mark Davis, the owner, 2-7. He said McDaniels was doing a quote fantastic job. So there's no chance in hell of that happening. So I got to go with what we got here. So get on the defensive side of the ball here. The top 3 holes we need to fill on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive tackle, and you guys agreed as well, corner, and then a linebacker in that order. First thing I want to talk about doing here, I talked about Dalvin Tomlinson 2 years ago when he was a free agent before, when he was with the Giants, and he eventually signed with Minnesota Vikings. And $8 million I think is kind of fair. You can get 3 or 4 sacks out of him, a much more improved presence in the middle. And I think that's a good stopgap. I personally, I don't think we can afford Javon Hargrave, even if he wants to come here, which why would he, with being on the Eagles and frankly, the Raiders being in a rebuild for at least a year or two. I don't see that really happening anyway. Plus, let's talk about it. Patrick Graham, connection with the Giants, Dalvin Tomlinson, of course. And the rookies, Siaki Ika, this big kid from Baylor. We talked about that in our defensive live stream. And it's a little weird because his forte is more pass rushing. You would think a guy like that would be a straight one tech, run stuffer, like a Hankins kind of guy. Maybe we can get that out of him. I think he'll be available in the 2nd round there. I think we should use that pick. Of course, we're going to draft our quarterback of the future, 7th overall. But I think with those two, that would give us a little improved presence up the middle. And maybe, and like I said, signing Jerry Tillery, let's rotate those guys around. I think that's a good option to go with here. And it's salary cap friendly. Let's get to this cornerbacks here. I want to spend some money here. I don't want Marcus Peters here. I don't like the attitude, grabbing his crotch. I think he's going to be a head case if he comes here, especially if we don't win. So I went with James Bradbury. I know he had a little bit of an off year this year with the Eagles, $10 million. I think that's fair for him. It's not a J.C. Jackson $20 million plus contract. And of course, we got to talk about it again. Patrick Graham connection to the Giants. Now, I think getting these Giants guys helps with two reasons. Number one, Graham can fit him. They know the system. He can fit him in, and the expectations there. Number two, and more importantly for me, this defense has taken a huge step back. We retained Patrick Graham this year. We could have very well fired him. So, I mean, you could use the excuse, oh, we didn't have enough talent. Chandler Jones didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. Now we're getting a couple of your guys in. We're bolstering it. We're putting more money on this side of the ball. So you better start producing, Mr. Graham, or you're going to be gone after this season. Now let's get to the linebackers. And I talked about this before, about re-signing Denzel Perryman. That's my hope. Doesn't mean I think it's going to happen. I really think it's kind of a low chance. I think it's a higher chance of us than getting Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you. But $8.5 million, I think, is fair given his injury history. If he didn't have the injury history, it would definitely be over 10. Levante David's an option, but I think both these guys would be better suited for a 3-4. But I want to keep some cohesiveness with the defense. He's one of our best players, arguably, obviously, second best to Max Crosby on the defensive side. A Pro Bowl guy here. Let's build around him. Plus, he was a former Charger, so, it's another guy, like Tillery. They dumped him, little rivalry going. And he's solid when he's healthy. Now, draft picks, I'm thinking maybe Jack Campbell if he's there in the third, depending, again, we'll have to see where this lays out in April when the draft is actually here. You could be moving up, you could be moving back. Talked about Jack Campbell, middle linebacker, kind of built to play the game. He reminds me of a player that would be like on the Pittsburgh Steelers of the old, the steel curtain, like a Lambert kind of guy. We need something like that. We need a little bit more grit there. I would love that. Plus, he's better. I say in college at least, he's better in pass coverage than Perryman is in the pros. And with Perryman's injury history, why not get a guy like this? We passed on Nick Bolton, and he just won a Super Bowl. A middle guy who can also play outside. I'm also looking at Darmervian Overshone. He kind of plays like an old school Raider, to be honest with you. Very emotional, very excited. We need some young juice in here. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna mix the young with the old. Get some stalwarts, veterans in here, and bring up the youth. Now, like I said, I'm only talking about like the first 3 rounds. Of course, we're going to pick more defensive players, but I think this kind of sets us up in a good way for at least the next couple of years. If we get a Jack Campbell, he can take over the mic when Perryman moves on or can't play. If we keep Perryman for like 2 or 3 years, Bradbury's in there right now as a stopgap. But again, the defensive tackle position, getting an interior pass rush, I think is paramount to this defense. Now, as far as the salary cap goes, I see. I'll talk about the running backs here as well, Dominique. But I want to get into the salary cap. I just want to see post draft. So I said currently it's about $37 million, estimated $231.7. This is from SpotTrack.com. This is the breakdown, 51.43. So modified, if I add the players I want to add via free agency, and I got to add, it's going to be about $7 million. They're guessing to sign all the draft picks that we'll have. It might be a little bit more. We'll see. We do have 11 draft picks. A lot of them are on the back end though. 3 5ths, 2 6, 2 7ths, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So. But it gives us a net cap space of about $5 million. Again, you can play with this. I think you can probably go about $10 million over the cap on your initial numbers and then kind of make room. Like I said, they have lawyers, they have whole groups of capologists to do this. So I think with that, we're at about $5 million. We probably have about another 10 or 15 million to actually play with to round out the roster. Get some men players, of course, you're going to be getting. If there's some free agents we want to go after, we can do that now. Maybe some younger guys that didn't really catch on. I don't want to go for any big flashy names right now because, frankly, I don't think this team is ready to win. So therefore, I think that would just be nothing but a big waste of money. I think we need to build the core and then move on from there. And then once we get that going with the youth and start getting good, then you can bring in kind of mercenary, kind of all-star players to come in and round out the roster. But again, as always, I want to know what you have to say. What would you do as GM? This is the question and answer right here. And I put a chat question, a live chat question. I got to check that out right now. Which of these rookie quarterbacks would you target? I want to hear what you have to say. And it looks like it's between Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. Notice I didn't say anything about Will Levis. I didn't say anything about Bryce Young. Frankly, they're 3 and 4 on my list. I would probably put Stroud 1 just because he's safe. I like Richardson's upside. I said this before, and I watch it. That arm of his is ridiculous. It's a laser pointer type of an arm. Talent out the butt. Can he be coached up by McDoofus? I don't know. But the upside is there. If we're going to start over with a rookie quarterback, something we haven't done literally since 2014, why not go for the gusto? CJ Stroud, solid. Big kid. Put good numbers up at Ohio State. I'm not going to hear about the Ohio State quarterback nonsense. I think he'll be solid. Bryce Young might be a little light. Played very well in college, obviously. Will Levis, big kid. I don't know. I think the NFL might eat him up because he's not as accurate. I mean, some people knock Richardson on that. I think Levis is even less accurate than Anthony Richardson. So we got some more votes going in. So yeah, go ahead and vote. I got that up. I want to hear what you guys say. So I put it all together. I put what the cap would. We keep around $5 million under the cap. That way, of course, it can always be manipulated and played with. But I wanted something realistic. I can't say we're going to get Aaron Rodgers and we're going to give $1 billion to Josh Jacobs to keep him here, and we're going to get this guy and that guy, and we're going to get Javon Hargrave. We can't get all those guys. Let's be honest, and we're not there right now. We're not there. The Chargers have been set up pretty well. The Chiefs are the standard, obviously. 2 championships with Mahomes now, 9 division championships. They're the standard. And what have they done? They had 6 rookies on starting in the Super Bowl. So what does that tell you? How many rookies do we even have starting on ours? I mean, just through attrition, maybe undrafted guys. But I mean, especially our first round picks. How many first round picks do we got anymore on this team? So, salute to you as well, Al's Ghost. I see you in here. We're in the question and answer segment right now. If you want to come on, there is the pinned comment. You can come on and you can come talk to me. Sound off if you don't want to. I'm going to be trying to get the Twidget going. What's happening, guys? I'm having some issues, honestly. And I think it's all about the OBS. It's all about the OBS, and it's all about it updating to a new version. And it screwed a lot of things up. It screwed my frame rate up. If you look at my camera, it looks a little wonky now. I tried fixing that. Got a little bit better. It screwed up the Twidget plugin app to show your comments. And we're talking about that before. I've been trying to work on that. There is some ways I can revert back to the old revision, but it's not a fail-safe, and I didn't really want to mess with it right before the live stream. Let's see what we got. Dominic says this is a deep running back class. It is, and but I don't want to use. Chain would be nice because of the versatility. But I really don't want to use an early pick on running back, to be honest with you. I just don't. I think if we can get Jamal Williams on a 2-year kind of rental contract, that would be great. We got too many other holes. We got a quarterback. We got to get a quarterback, and we have defensive holes. So we can't fill everything out early. If we want to draft one in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, that's great. I'm fine with that, but nothing in the first 3 rounds at running back. We can't afford it. It's going to be quarterback and defense, in my opinion. So, or getting Mock, the offensive lineman, the guard. That would be value as well because our guards are terrible. Dominic also says, I totally agree with you on Anthony Richardson. That's a quarterback we should draft. I'm just saying. I mean, he has his highs and he has his lows, and if we do end up getting him, I hope Raider Nation's a little patient with the guy. I hope they're much more patient than they were Derek Carr. And I know Carr was here 9 years, but I remember when Carr came out and took over the job, and people were wanting Matt McGloin to start because he threw an interception or something. It's like, come on, guys. So Al's Ghost, I see you in here as well. So sound off. Let me see. Let me get the chat going here. There we are. Yeah, this new version of OBS, it kind of it updated itself, and now the whole thing's kind of messed up. I've tried to slow down the frame rate to help with that. Didn't really help with it. I did. I also got the headset off. I got the mic working. Let me see if I can. Be careful. I don't want to blast your ears. Show you this. Got the microphone going. And that looks like it's working well. So I got the headset off. That means the green screen works a lot better. That was the big thing with the green screen, having this on here. You can see when I do that, it messes it all up. So some wins, some losses. I'm going to probably have to revert to an old version of OBS. I'm at 29, and it's just a mess. It sucks up so much resource in general on my computer. I don't know what else to say about that. It is what it is. I'll get that fixed. I do have Restream open. I'm gonna try the StreamYard once I get the OBS back to the old way. I'll try StreamYard again, at least for the chat. We were having problems with that before, I believe last week on that. So I'm just going straight the old school Restream. If you want to come on, the link is in the description. You can do that as well. I see 8 votes in our which of the rookie quarterbacks would you want to target? Stroud is number 1. Levis and Richardson are tied. Bryce Young last. And it's kind of funny because I want to start doing some mock drafts. We usually start doing them at this time. We can still do them like next week, but of course it's not really going to matter a whole lot if you look at some of these mock drafts. I've been messing with them, these databases and PFF, and the same ones we've used for years now. They're having Chicago stay at number 1. That's not going to happen. I think in my opinion, this is what I think is going to happen with this whole quarterback carousel stuff. Rodgers, if he doesn't retire, which is a big if, I think he's probably going to go to the Jets, just like Brett Favre did from Green Bay. That'd be a little weird, but hey, I think Indianapolis is going to move up to the top spot. They've played enough games with signing veteran quarterbacks that have flopped. I think they're going to want to move up, get to the top spot. They remember getting Andrew Luck at number 1. They remember getting Peyton Manning at number 1. I think they could do that. Green Bay. Chicago is going to get a lot of good picks and be able to get a good defensive player there. I believe they pick 5, Colts do. So I think they're going to move up. They'll pick, I don't know, maybe CJ Stroud will go number 1. I mean, relatively local, kind of Indiana, Ohio State. They might go Bryce Young. We'll see. But I could see Anthony Richardson fall into us, and I think that's where we want. And I still think Derek Carr is going to go to the Saints. Pretty much has the rotation around. I think Carolina's going to draft a quarterback. I think Atlanta's going to draft a quarterback. The Raiders need to be worried, I would say, of Atlanta moving up and leapfrogging us. If they really do want Richardson, I could kind of see them trying to jump up to get him ahead of us if it pans out that way. Again, for the quarterbacks I think are going to go in the top 10, that's what the mock is right now. We will see. Of course, we're going to have the combine pretty soon. We're going to have combine coverage. Hopefully I don't get another copyright issue with that again. I mean, I showed like literally like 2 seconds of Jordan Davis, and nope. It's ridiculous. And some of these other channels, they can just I don't know. I don't know if they can do whatever they want. So Paul Gaines says Raiders Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, I could see it, and I talked about this before with Al's Ghost about this regime starting at the top. Mark Davis always wanting to kind of make a splash. Now, if they want to do that to try to gain favor with Raider Nation, sell tickets, all this other stuff, that would kind of make sense. But from a football standpoint, let's be honest, he's only going to be around like a year at most, I think. Again, to avoid going into the hall with Tom Brady, we're not going to be ready this year. If the defense was like a top 10 defense, then yeah, let's roll the dice. But it's not. It's not, guys. And we have a lot of holes to fill. And remember, it's going to cost us draft capital. I don't know what do we have to give up to get Aaron Rodgers? A first, a third, a first and a third? I don't know at this point. What would be the asking price? And remember, the Jets are there too. Why not? Maybe they'll do it. I mean, Zach Wilson they've already given up on. Looks like after 1 year. So Rodgers is not going to follow in Favre's footsteps and go to the Jets. Never say never. Never say never. I mean, let's see what happens on his little darkness retreat or whatever the hell he's doing. Could very well retire. Let's be honest and just swallow his pride and just go in the hall with Tom Brady. I mean, they're both first ballot guys, obviously. So, to me, for Rodgers, I think that would be the only reason to stay in the league is to avoid that. But why bother? I mean, where else could he really go? Let's be honest. I mean, who's going to incur that money? Let's see. Could he go to the Rams? Maybe they don't have any first round picks, so they never have a first round pick. So I don't know what they could trade for him. Maybe Jalen Ramsey. I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Could happen. Let's see what you guys got going. So yeah, let me know what you guys have to say. Put it in the chat. If you want to come in again, it's the pinned comment. I'll put it out right now. Let's see. Get out here. Pin comment. I'll pop it in here. So if you want to come talk, we can talk live. You don't have to be on camera. That's fine. A lot of people don't want to be on camera. I get it. That's cool. Come sound off. Get your microphone on. You can do that. Let me get this off here. Okay. Usually go about an hour. Again, we're going to be starting to do mock drafts. We got the combine, and then of course the NFL draft. We're going to look at the players that we draft, evaluate them. I give out grades. So if you are enjoying this, especially if you're watching this on a replay here, not live, why not join us live? Then the best way to do that is sub to the channel. You know, if you're enjoying this, do it. Why not? And hit that like button while you're here. Let's see. Dominic 5 also says thoughts on Rex Ryan possibly going to Denver. Okay. Denver's and I talked about this last season. I remember when they got Russell Wilson. Everybody was all excited. You know, Derek Carr's the worst quarterback in the division now, and we're going to be the worst team. And I go, no, guys, Denver's going to be the worst team. Don't trust Nat Hackett, Ken Hackett. I didn't trust it. Didn't work out. Not only that, Russell Wilson, I said this before, and I got some heat for it. If you look at his stats that last year in Seattle, not so good. Not so good with the accuracy, completion percentage, QBR. It just wasn't there. And like, well, he had Lockett. He had DK Metcalf there. So, and every year Seattle has a good running game with a different running back. So, and then you go to Denver. I mean, I would take Lockett and DK over Sutton and Jerry Jeudy any day. You know, so not only that, Javonte Williams got hurt this year. Even if he does come back, it's probably not going to be the beginning of the season. It's going to be later on in the season. And it's probably going to take him a year to get over the ACL like most running backs do. So Denver's not going to be that good this year. I'm not even worried about it. Officer Rollout says Rogers will retire and play beach volleyball, allegedly. I'm kind of leaning towards it unless he has the pride going. Unless he has the pride, and I, I really don't want to trade for him. It's going to set us back. We're probably going to have to give up our 7th pick, and we can get a rookie quarterback and look for the future. We are not close enough to win a Super Bowl yet, guys. We aren't. Look at this defense. I mean, a lot of people hate Derek Carr, but, I mean, we were competitive with the Chiefs. It's the defense that sucks. We would get leads, and then the coaching. Now, some of it was on Carr. I give him a portion of it, but a lot of it was play calling. Can't get first downs. Very predictable. And then the defense kind of falls apart. But we really didn't have the talent. Chandler Jones didn't really show much of anything this year. Let's be honest. Didn't earn that money. Didn't really earn the money. He needs to kind of step up. We have one more year with the guy, salary cap wise, as it currently stands now. Everything can be renegotiated, but right now we're upside down with the guy. After this year, we could probably cut him. It looks like, and save a lot on the cap, and with minimal damage. So right now it's a no go. Not Raider related, but your thoughts on Eric Bieniemy going to Washington? Did that just happen? I did not see that. Did that just happen today? It might have just happened today. Eric Bieniemy. That's interesting. Washington's another team that needs a quarterback. I don't think Heineke is the answer. Is the Chiefs' success because of Bieniemy, or is it because of the Kool-Aid Man and Patrick Mahomes? I'm going to go towards the latter here now. That and the whole issues. I know a lot of people were talking about him with the Raiders before. I'm like, that's not going to happen because of the domestic stuff that's happened. There's no way in hell Mark Davis is going to hire somebody like that. No way in hell. No way in hell. But football, just the football side, I question it. I really question it. And that division's not an easy division. Let's be honest. It's not an easy division. If Dallas could get their head out of their butt, I mean, they could really challenge Philly, of course. Philly is the standard. And the Giants are kind of pesky right now. I know they're probably going to need a running back. They'll probably get one in the draft. Maybe they'll go after Bijan. I don't know. But I don't think Barkley's going to stay there. Maybe they'll go after Josh Jacobs. I don't know. Be very interesting to see next month. March 15th. Is the official opening of the season, which means the free agents are officially free agents. So if we don't tag Josh Jacobs, he could sign anywhere. He's gone. I think he's gone anyway. So, but that said, I don't know. He's gonna have to prove it to me. I mean, it's easy to look good when you got Patrick Mahomes, when you got arguably the best quarterback in the league, when you got arguably the best tight end in the league. The offensive line, I mean, if you want somebody, get somebody in the personnel group, their GM, player, director, player, personnel. If you want, I want that. I want that because they draft well. They rebuilt that offensive line since they got smashed by Tampa a couple years back. And, they paid the money to Orlando Brown. The rest of the lines look good. So they did the job, and they got rid of Tyreek Hill and never really lost a beat. They don't have as big of a big play threat as they did, but they don't really need it. So with Patrick Mahomes there, this is what I'm saying. Why not go draft a rookie quarterback at this point? We've moved on from Carr. Why get a 1-year rental of Aaron Rodgers and lose out on one of these good quarterbacks? Why? I mean, this is... to me, you're an offensive guru, Josh McDaniels. Show me something. Show me you, Ziegler, and all these Patriot guys can evaluate talent. Again, I've heard rumors of Mac Jones. Chat Sports put some clickbait nonsense out. Nobody's going to want Mac Jones. If we go get Mac Jones, I don't know. I might have to go in a cave until McDaniels is gone because I couldn't stand that. Mac Jones is terrible. If that's the solution, if we're going to give up our first round pick for that guy, it would be fucking ridiculous. Let's be honest, be ridiculous. We've seen what he can do, and it's not much. Uh, he got owned by our defense, and our defense is not very good. So yeah, I don't want that. I want to see what this regime has. This is kind of a show me year. This is a show me year for Josh McDaniels. You're going to get a rookie quarterback. You guys fumbled this Carr contract, and basically the way it was structured, we couldn't trade him. If you guys didn't do that, if you guys knew what you were kind of doing, if there was a doubt, it was, like I said, it was set up to where there was no doubt that Carr would be our quarterback of the future. And obviously after 1 year, no. So show me you know what you're doing. Just show me you know what you're doing. If that wasn't the case, you shouldn't have had that out in February. It should have been after. But you didn't. So now we couldn't trade him. I know there's probably some teams that would have taken him. Tampa, New Orleans, definitely. Carolina would have been in the mix. Officer Rollout says Raiders Scouts versus the Boy Scouts. You make the call. Well, it's not just the Scouts. It's the whole organization. Now, you could the previous regime. It's kind of a mixed bag because a lot of people say Mayock handled like the back end of the draft, and we got some pretty good gems out of that. But Gruden handled the front end and not so much. So I don't know. It's interesting because we didn't have a first or second round pick last year, so we can't really see what these guys were really doing. So now I don't really want to move up to number one because it's going to cost us a lot, at least 2 1s and probably a 2 or a 3. I want to stay at 7 and see what we get. That's where I want to be right now. I don't want to get a corner. I don't want Witherspoon at 7. That would be insane. Even if you're a Darrelle Revis or something like that, or a Sertan, it's hard for me to invest that high of a pick on a player that's only involved in some of the plays. You know, granted he can make plays when they throw it to him, but if he's that good, eventually they're just going to kind of stay away from him. So then what? Yeah, it's. I don't think the position values it. I think you put it in the trenches or you put it at quarterback. That's my opinion. House Ghost retracted the message. So we're nearing the hour. I'm gonna close out the voting, the live voting right now. Which of these rookie quarterbacks would you target? So get your votes in now. Is it Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, or my guy, Anthony Richardson, AK-15, or AR-15, AK-15, AK-47, he was on the Jazz. AR-15, so I'm sure I'm not the first one to call him that. So I just like the upside of the kid. I like it. I like the way he throws the ball. The decision making, there might be some things. He's not going to have as much time in the NFL. But he can make plays with his feet. That was a knock on Carr. Sometimes he did, and sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes he would just curl up like a ball, just like Joey Bosa said. Joey Bosa's an asshole, but I mean he was true on that. So no corners in the first. There will be corners in the first round, guaranteed. There will be. Witherspoon will probably go in the top 10. That's probably going to happen. So, but. I mean, I'm just saying, not just the Raiders and the way the team is right now and their needs. If I was a general manager anywhere, I would really be hard pressed to select a cornerback in the top 10. Why? Why would you do that? Give me arguably the best offensive lineman on the board, or the best or second best edge rusher on the board. I'd rather have that. Or if you need a quarterback, go get a quarterback. If you like the quarterback out there that's available, go get him. Why go get a corner? Makes no sense. Let's see. So next week I'll probably do some mock drafts. I know it's early, and then we can kind of prep for the combine. We'll do some of that. I think I'll just show videos anyway. I don't care if I get copyright strike. I don't care. Screw it. It's ridiculous. Everybody else can show videos. Everybody else can show 11 on 11. You know, I do it. I get nailed. So, but I mean, I can't really describe the combine just by talking about it. I got to show you these guys like Jordan Davis. I like Trevor Penning. Of course, we traded those picks for Devontae Adams. So it was all for naught. But that was before. So anyway, let's see. Let's close out the live voting. Get your votes in. 10, 9, 8. I got 7 of you in here, it says, and 8 likes. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Appreciate that. Get those votes in. Get your live vote in at the top of the chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're ending it right now. So it looks like CJ Stroud won it. You can say Stroud. See, that's what I said before. You can say Stroud because I think he's the safest. I think Stroud's the safest pick of the 4. I think Richardson's probably got the most upside. They're comparing Levis to Josh Allen. We'll see. Well, Josh Allen throws a lot of picks too, so maybe so. I like Richardson's dual ability. I think he can run, but he can also throw. A lot of people say, oh, it's Lamar. No, it's not Lamar. Lamar can't throw more than 10, 15 yards down the field. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. This guy throws bullets. And he runs. Like I said, it's more like Cam Newton. And he can run. Well, I mean, having a player like that cures a lot of ills. And then you have Devontae Adams. Hunter Renfrow hopefully will be back healthy. I don't think we'll have Waller. We can draft a serviceable tight end. The tight end pool is pretty deep, just like Dominique said. The running back pool is pretty deep. So why not grab a rookie tight end, groom him, get rid of Foster Moreau? I don't like him, you know that. Officer Rollout says, give me a good offensive lineman, just a good set of tires. They last and last and last. Yeah, I mean they do. Running back, not so much, and I don't know. Josh Jacobs obviously had a great year, rushing title. There's nothing to say about that, but was it because he was looking for the contract? Let's be honest. I mean, we've done this a couple times before, and once you give the money out, the production goes down. So I would say good luck to him. And we go after it. Running backs, honestly, they're kind of a dime a dozen at this point, and their shelf life is very low. They're the high end tires you got to replace every year. How about that? Alsgo says I like Stroud, but he won't be there at 7. Now, some of the mock drafts I've been doing, including PFF, have Stroud at 7. I don't buy it because they don't have Chicago moving down. Again, this is early on. We gotta check out the combine. I think Richardson's a fair pick at 7. And I don't want Ziegler to trade. Draft cap will move up. Amen. We've got too many holes. Those are kind of moves you do when you're this close and you want to get over the hump and you want to get a stud and round out your team and go make a run for the title. We're not there yet. We're at least a year away. We're at least a year away right now. Raiders need ride or die Raiders. That was one word I was looking like. Ride or die Raiders says, welcome to the program. If you're enjoying this course, give it a thumbs up. Absolutely free. Ride or die says Raiders need depth at every position and 10 starters. Yeah. Mostly on the defensive side. I agree with that. At least one corner. I would say at least 2, at least 1 defensive tackle, 2 linebackers, probably strong safety, couple guards, tight end. So yeah, that's close to 10. Let's see. Okay. Anybody else have anything else? We're at 54 minutes past the hour. We do this normally for about an hour. When we do the mock drafts, we will be going over probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, because I like to do them a number of ways. I show different screens. It takes a little bit more time. And I want to get you guys more involved. That's the whole point of this. So, of course, I'm going to have to get OBS fixed. I'm going to probably have to go back to an old version because this version sucks. It's messing up the plugin called Twidget, which I can remember I was showing your chat on the screen itself. I couldn't do that now, unfortunately. I will be working on that this week. Get this ready for you guys. StreamYard's an option. I might check that out as well because I've got the microphone working. Like I said, I was having mic issues before. You can see that now. But it looks like that has resolved itself. I tested it out. That way I don't have to wear the headset. I can use the green screen, no problem for the most part. Little tweaks here and there. The StreamYard doesn't tweak the green screen as well, but it is what it is. That said, I want to thank you guys for coming out, especially you longtime watchers. I do appreciate it. Making these videos, doing content. If you haven't done it before, it's not easy. It's a lot of things going on. Not just coming up with subjects and everything that kind of goes along with it. It's kind of like building a car. You have to be an expert at braking systems. You have to be an expert at engine systems and all this other stuff, and you didn't kind of realize that when you're getting into it. I do enjoy it, but I do enjoy even more coming on live with you guys, getting your input and figuring out what Raider Nation's thinking right now. Let's see. Red Light 79, welcome to the program. If we're not trying to win now, trade Adams because it's not fair to him. Well, that might actually happen. There's been rumor mill talk about that. But he's also said that he would be happy. He would be okay with going fresh with a rookie as well. So, for what it's worth, you never know what people say. Maybe he's just trying to be a good soldier, so to speak. But obviously, he came here for Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not here anymore. Who knows? Maybe trade him. Get rid of the salary and get some draft capital. Get another first round pick. I mean, shit. If we can get Richardson and a top defender, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If we could get like a top 10 pick, get Richardson, and then get another player in after that. I mean, even in the mid first round pick, go after a corner there. That's cool. But top 10, no, I don't want to do that. But yeah, I mean, but then you're thinking, well, then Darren Waller's probably going to stay then. And is Darren Waller going to actually play a whole season? Is that actually going to happen? Is Darren Waller kind of resentful for the team, the whole Gruden thing? Because remember, Gruden was the guy who brought him from Baltimore's practice squad. So there was loyalty there. Shit happened there. Not necessarily Mark Davis's fault. This is email bullshit. Maybe not behind the scenes. I don't think so. I don't think Mark Davis is smart enough to engineer something like that, let's be honest. But, maybe he's not happy with the new regime now and he wants to change. Who knows? It's hard for me to see that we're going to keep Waller, Renfro, and Devontae Adams on this team with pretty good contracts. I don't really see that. Who else is paying that much money out to receiving corps like that besides us? And bigger question, if they are, if you can give me an example, are they actually winning? I doubt it. You can't there's salary cap. There's only so much money everybody has to play with. So if you put all that money over here, that's why the defense sucks. That's why we don't have an offensive line. That's why Kansas City, they draft well and they can have first and second year starters and then go get an Orlando Brown and secure their offensive line. Meanwhile, we're stupid and we can't draft worth a damn and we keep chasing our tail. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't like the chase, but you got to give them credit. Their GM's a beast. It is what it is. All right. I think I've done enough ranting. It's almost 8 o'clock. We're almost at the top of the hour. I do want to appreciate that you coming out. Of course, all times are Raider time. 7:59 p.m. here. And especially if you're watching on a replay, if you've gotten this far, I sincerely thank you. Even if, I want you to like and subscribe, but if you don't, sincere thank you for watching, getting through this whole thing. So with that said, thank you very much. We'll come back next week. Improve again on the technical issues. That's all we can do. We've got part of it done. We'll get the rest done. Come back with a good show and some mock drafts just for fun at this point. Unless Chicago, of course, trades that draft pick, then it would be more legitimate. But for now, we'll do some for fun. I always love doing those and get into the combine. With that, thank you very much for coming. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. All the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.